So I'm sure a lot of you guys are like me and you don't have the budget yet to invest in a certain types of gear that you need to achieve the shots you want. Or if you do, how many times you're actually going to use that piece of gear once you actually get it. So something I like to do when I'm shooting at home is to get a little creative and use the things I already have around me. With a little imagination, you can create something that looks like this. So when I started laying this idea out in my head, I didn't quite know how I was going to make the box slide in or have all the bottles spin with all the ingredients. I don't own a Motorized Lazy Susan or any fancy sliders or anything, but I was able to do these things just by gathering a few things I already have laying around my house. This video was shot for the Bruery. They're located out of Placentia, California. The box in the video is actually part of their preservation society, where members receive quarterly boxes at the doorstep, and I wanted to show how much fun it would be to receive one of these boxes and what beers they'd be getting inside. So in the first scene of this video, I want to have the box slide in a frame and land perfectly centered from the door, but I knew this was going to be really hard to achieve perfectly, so I was able to do this with some duct tape and my doormat. Luckily my front porch has stairs, which allowed me to shoot at a lower angle, which helped me hide the doormat and the duct tape. All I did was stretch out a couple feet of duct tape and attach it to the bottom of my doormat, which helped the box slide smoother on the ground as I pulled it out of frame, which later I would reverse in Premiere Pro. And before I slid the box out of frame, I tilted the box a few times so that I had some clips to work with to make the box slide in and tilt slightly as it came to a stop. I felt like this would make the whole scene feel a little bit more natural rather than just having the box slide in flat the entire time. Then the clip of the box knocking on the door was actually one of the easiest shots to get. All I did was use my hands to tilt the box forward a few times, making sure to keep my hands as low as possible to keep them out of the frame. From there, I wanted to get the perspective of the person actually receiving the box, so all I did was open the door and film myself grabbing the box a few times, making sure to end by filling the frame with my hand. My plan was to somehow transition going inside the box and to show all the beer and the ingredients. However, I wasn't really sure how to make this happen, but I finally came up with an idea, and I feel pretty happy with the way it turned out. So I decided to shoot the remainder of the shots in my home studio, which is actually just my garage. I recently purchased two GVM P80s, and this was actually kind of my first real project with them, and I would say I'm pretty impressed with how they performed. I set up one of them to use as a white backdrop, then used a second one as my main light, followed by a white foam board which helped add in some fill light. So I took a box and I set up with the light shining directly through it, and I quickly filmed a few pans going inside the box and straight into the white background. That helped me transition into my next shot, which is actually the ingredients falling and the bottle spinning. This is the part I actually had the most difficulty with. I was using a Lazy Susan to spin the bottles, and the results I was getting were very inconsistent. And if you guys don't know what a Lazy Susan is, they're actually about $10 and you can get them from Walmart and Amazon. Most people use them in their pantries for food or spices, but a lot of people have started using them for product work. I wanted to make sure to keep the spin of the bottle at the same speed between each beer, but when I was spinning it with my hand, it was very inconsistent, and every now and then you see my arm or my hand in the shot. The next thing I tried was attaching a rope and pulling on it, but it was pretty inconsistent and the rope kept getting stuck underneath the Lazy Susan. So after some trial and error, I actually remembered back to one of my favorite filmmakers and YouTubers, Austen, who gets really creative with some of his shots where he uses a drill to spin some of his products. So I ended up actually drilling a hole directly through my table, and then I hot glued a wooden stick to the bottom of my Lazy Susan so I could actually use the drill to spin my Lazy Susan at the same speed each time. I definitely don't recommend drilling a hole into your table unless it has no value to you. The table I shoot on is pretty beat up from placing various backdrops on it, and I only ever shoot on with these backdrops, so I'll literally never see it. So one issue I did run into while filming this with the drill attached to the Lazy Susan was the drill would spin a little too fast even at its lowest setting. I wanted to shoot this at 4K 24 frames per second, but the label just wasn't legible at that speed. So I ended up switching to 1080 at 120 frames per second and just slowing it down in Premiere to about 35%. From here, I pretty much kept using Austen's technique by putting each ingredient onto the drill and spinning them around about 2 to 3 times. Then in Premiere Pro, I created a mask to hide the drill and then used some simple position and rotation keyframing to make the ingredients fly through the frame and around the bottle. Then every time I wanted to transition into a new beer, I made sure one of the ingredients cut through, filling the whole frame, so I could mask out the bottle before to introduce the new beer. And as a finishing touch to my video, I wanted to have a loop back to the beginning, so I decided to film the box in a similar way as we did in the intro, so we could have the box slide into frame and then back out, which would loop back to the box sliding into the front porch. I hope you guys enjoyed my first product commercial breakdown, and I can't thank you guys enough for all the support you've given me on this channel. I've already had a few people tag me in photos they've shot using some of my techniques, and I would absolutely love to see more. So please feel free to tag me or send me a message on Instagram. Both my accounts are linked down below. And make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it or found it helpful. I have a lot more things in store for you guys, so please make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys in the next one.